Hey, yeah, yeah. Word up, everyone. Niall Grimes here from Jam Crack Podcast. Experiment time. I am releasing this podcast as a YouTube podcast. Guest this week is Rose Merrett. Rose is a 10-year-old girl who someone got in touch with me, a fan of the show, there is such things, to suggest that I would have her on as a guest. I was initially dubious, 10-year-old girl, not really jam crack, is it? But the person, Esther Griesbach, she suggested it and she put me on. I saw her clip of Rose on Instagram and I thought, I dig her. Let's spread the jam out a little bit further and have her on. She came on, absolutely fantastic guest, as you'll see yourself. Really lovely kid with as much a climber as anyone I've ever had on the show. Just one little thing, we say Rose is the youngest person to climb 8A in the UK. No, there's it Jack or Josh Ebertson has done Rain Dogs at 9, so she's the youngest girl. And personally, as someone who would love to climb 8A myself, climbing 8A is the goal, isn't it? Or not the goal, but that's the prize. So there you go. Rose Merrett. See what you think of her. All right, bye. Jam Crack Podcast. On screen. With me, Niall Grimes. And this is Rose, okay?
Well, I don't think I've used these because nobody wants to talk to me because I'm like 10 years old and all I talk about.
I know. I mean, what could you possibly have to say?
I know. And when I was at school and the people that did want to talk to me, they had nothing to do with climbing, so I couldn't talk to them.
Oh, really?
It sucked.
Are you super psyched on climbing, Rose?
Yeah, it's super epic.
Hang on, let me see, is this recording? So how psyched are you on climbing? Can you put it into words? So when you wake up in the morning, do you think about climbing?
Yeah. I think, well, during Corona, like in the lockdown or something, I was really psyched with like training and getting stronger to then go climbing. But now I'm like, because I go to Poland quite a lot, and I just did my first 7C there. So now I'm like really happy.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I gotta find.
What was it called? What was the 7C called?
Shapeshifter.
Right.
It's like quite a good 7C. Quite a lot of people try it. It's at Battleship.
Battleship's the name of one of the cliffs there, isn't it?
Yeah. I think my favourite place in Portland.
Right, what's so good about it?
Well, you have like, the height is really cool and you have grades from 5+ to 7C, and then you can go down for like...
I think I've seen photographs of it, and do people look really small when they're on it?
Yes!
Right? Not just small people.
From the bottom, because it's so big, it's like 25 metres maybe?
Right.
Some of it, and then like if it's hot, you'll just walk down 5 minutes and you're at the sea and you can put your feet in.
Nice.
And it's really nice.
Is that what you do? Do you go down and have little dips and things from time to time?
Sometimes
Right.
I might just sit until it comes up to my legs.
Right.
But my dad doesn't. He hates the cold sea without a wetsuit. He's really annoying.
Is your dad a bit fussy? You're talking about how your dad doesn't like to drink tea out of anything other than a plastic or a china cup.
Yep.
And you rolled your eyes. Do your eye rolling thing? Yeah, you did a bit of that.
Because then, if he asks like, "Oh, do you want a cup of tea?" and I go, "No," "Oh, can you make me one?" I'll make it, and he doesn't like it.
That's not fair. That's you doing your best to make a nice cup of tea.
Yeah, but he used to be a diving instructor, so I'm not 100% sure why he doesn't like the water. But
Right.
we're there to climb, so we normally climb quite a bit.
Yeah. You're not there to dip your feet into the water.
No.
You can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
Rose, you're a very special person. You are the youngest ever guest on Jam Crack.
Eh?
Guest on Jam Crack. You're my youngest guest.
Really?
Yeah, by a long way. I think my previous youngest one was Molly Thompson-Smith, and she was about 18, I think, at the time.
How old is she now?
I do not know. She's 18 plus however long it was. Maybe she's in her early 20s, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's quite young. Anyone younger? No, no one younger. And the oldest person was probably in their 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
And you're how old?
10.
10 years old. And you're an amazingly sight climber already. Now, I was going to try, that was my little joke, that thing that you're the youngest person in Jam Crack. You are the youngest person in Jam Crack. But one of the things that makes it special is, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, are you the youngest person in the UK to climb 8A?
Yes.
Ha! Congratulations. That's an incredible achievement. I dream of doing 8A, Rose. I don't quite dream of doing 8A. I probably could do it if I really tried, but I would love to climb 8A. It's such a magical grade, isn't it?
It's really cool when you go into the 8A grade. And now I think it would be epic if I could, because 8A is I think like 513 or something.
513B in America.
Yeah. And like the next big thing is 514. That's like 514, and then maybe when I'm like quite a bit older, like 515 maybe.
Wow, 514 is 8B plus. So whenever I started climbing, people were just starting to do 8B plus, and that was the sort of the new grade that was happening. And I just say, my God, when you thought about how climbing was for you and you saw the distance between this and 8B plus, it's so amazing that people now just eat up 8B pluses, and you're going to eat up an 8B plus soon. You've been eating up 8As already. Tell us about your 8A.
Well, I mean, I think with any grade, when I went into the crag, now that I think about it, I was like really psyched that morning.
What's that psych feel like? Go and tell us. You wake up, how do you feel?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then after, I'm going to have the biggest ice cream in the world and celebrate, but I'm not old enough to drink, so I'm just going to stay up really late and watch movies.
And that was the day you knew you were going to do it, and you didn't feel like that on the other days. Sorry, where are we, Rose?
Spain. In Margalef.
Margalef.
And
that's one of the sport climbing great places of the world at the minute, isn't it?
I think if you're like been climbing a while, I think quite a lot of people know about Margalef.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I was doing my 8A, on all that, because we'd been there for a couple trips, that was my longest ever project.
Right.
So when we went there, I was like, okay, this is going to be hard. And then I would be really disappointed if I didn't get it on, like, because we'd been there 2 weeks, and then I wouldn't get it. Another 2 weeks, I wouldn't get it. And I'd feel like I'd be letting myself down, like,
you'd let your dad down, you'd let me down, you'd let your coach down,
everybody.
You'd let Esther down.
Yeah, it's just really annoying. And then I'd always didn't like actually getting up and doing it, just because I didn't think I was going to do it.
Hang on, you just said you knew you were going to do it.
Yeah, but that was that day. Some days I'd go, really? Am I actually an 8A climber? Like I'm 10. I'm pretty small and tiny. And the shocking thing is, when I got it, it was never my style.
Right.
It was really overhanging, super, like, quite big holds, but big moves, and just not my style. I'm not crimpier.
You're right.
And more technical, because I'm really tiny.
Yeah.
But
you get strong little fingers.
Yep, tiny little fingers. But it was amazing doing it, getting top.
Wow.
Because, I mean, you're in an amazing, beautiful place.
Right. Like, what's Margalef like? I've not been to Margalef itself.
Well, the place we stayed was La Bisbal, which is like a couple minutes from Margalef. But
is it a village?
Yeah, they're like little brick villages. And it's weird because they're on hills and it like goes up like stairs.
Yeah.
But it looks really old and like really small little villages, and it's really nice, like little corner shops, and everybody's so nice.
Yeah.
There's lots of trees and stuff. Kind of almost like a cowboy western movie.
Right. Looks lots of Spaniards with guns and things shooting at people who bealy them badly. Or somebody downgrades something to be a gunfight.
And it'd be just it's really beautiful.
Right.
Because they're like little streams, and sometimes you can see little farms with like they're growing stuff, and it's
and
nice.
They all come and they blossom at certain times.
It's really
just
amazing.
so amazing, isn't it? And the light's so beautiful there.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. Do you eat the Spanish food?
Yes. I like patatas bravas.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I eat lots of meat. I really like meat.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice there because it's quite chill. Like there's lots of dogs, there's a stray cats, and it's just chill and go climbing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you go climbing at 7 a.m, it's like really early. And then most Spanish people go climbing at like 11 and they'll get 10 routes done.
Yeah, yeah.
And then go back to bed.
Yeah, yeah, they like sleeping, don't they, the Spanish?
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of my favourite Spanish foods is a thing I one time got out there called tomato bread. And it's beautiful white bread, and they slice it and toast it a little bit. And then, I've only had it once, but it was one of the, you know, sometimes you get in your life a meal that you'll always remember.
Yeah.
And it was just this white bread slightly toasted, and they got some tomatoes and squashed the tomatoes over the bread, and then poured olive oil and put salt on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They really like their olive oil, don't they?
Oh my God, it was just beautiful. And I think a lot of the stuff you get out there is higher quality than you might get here because they grow olives.
It's all fresh.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we eat at this cafe called Cafe. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, Cafe?
Yeah, it's
Is that where climbers go, or is that where everyone goes?
every climber goes there.
Huh.
I remember the first time we ever went to Margalef, I was like, should I wear a dress? And then when I went in there, it was like all climbers that have just come back from climbing. And they're like all dirty and like chalked up.
Had you worn your dress?
No. And I'm glad I didn't.
You would have stood out.
Yes. And I don't like that. But it's really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it a lot.
And you sort of hang out there in the evenings, and do you go as a group?
Yeah, well, sometimes you go there with people, like go there because you once went there with my coach. His name's Danny.
You've got a coach?
Yep.
Huh.
I'm wearing his t-shirt now.
That Danny's? At home outdoors?
Dynamic coaching.
Okay. He's called
Danny.
Dynamic Danny.
Yeah. And I've been with him quite a bit coaching. So we went to Spain with him once, and it was actually on my birthday when I turned 10. And I got my AA 2 days before. So I got my AA 2 days after I turned 10. Which is so annoying. I wanted to do it when I was 9.
So you told you were letting your coach down. You let him down badly by 2 days. You were just 2 days too late.
No. And he left because he was only there for a week.
Right.
And he left the day before. So I did it on Sunday.
Right.
And he left on Saturday.
He must have been gutted.
Yeah.
Is Danny a good coach?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
What does he do for you? I'm just listening to make sure that's happening.
I think he just, because I think I've been with a couple coaches, and some are more like, you know, really, really hard. But Danny's sort of like a coach and a friend. He's really nice. He knows what routes I like and what routes I don't. And I think he's really cool as a coach.
Yeah.
I think when I started coaching with him, I was like, okay, this coach is, you know, like different, like it works with me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Danny feels the same way with me, but I just we just work together pretty well.
Do you meet up once a week or something like that?
Well, we used to do quite a lot of coaching sessions indoors, but now we do quite a bit outdoors together.
Right.
But maybe not for coaching sessions. We'll just meet up and climb.
Yeah.
And he'll like test me on something. Because when we go to Portland, he did a bunch of routes, and then I did those routes because he said, like, give me beta. He gave me beta and stuff.
How tall is Danny?
About, not sure. He's not that tall.
Right. Because that's a big difference with kids, isn't it? Because kids can be super strong, but reaching things is desperate, isn't it?
And I think...
Do you ever lose your temper with a reach?
Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes, because I think I'm flexible.
Right.
And I just try to put my feet up a lot, like really high.
Right.
And that's the only way it works for me.
Uh-huh.
It's big moves. And it's hard, but then also some adults in the gym, they go, how can you hold that? Like, it's cheating, you know, your hands are too small, like that's not fair, you know. It would be harder with big hands and stuff. Well, it's just weird.
Stop. Stop right there. No. I always mess up. I messed up again.
I know.
Right.
Maybe because it's outside.
This always seems to happen. You have to bear with me. So we lost some of the interview. This is a massive shame. But we're still here. We can sort it out. Record.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay. We were talking about Spain, weren't we? No, just as you said, ay, ay, ay. You know who you made me think of? You know someone called Daya Ojeda? Daila Ojeda, a Spanish woman climber.
Didn't she used to be with Chris Sharma, I think, maybe?
That's right, yeah, yeah.
On the side there.
And what?
Under my
You're useful. Yes, she did used to be with Chris Sharma.
Yeah. Yeah, I know her.
She's an amazing climber, isn't she?
Yeah.
I've seen photographs of her climbing and go, wow, look how well people climb.
Yeah.
She was resting on an E-bar on an overhanging wall.
I think she's really strong.
She probably is massively strong. Well, she climbs 8s and 9s, I think.
She was the first, I think she put up or was the first woman to do mind control in
Possibly.
Oliana.
Yeah, I've seen photographs of her doing it, so that usually means there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and I like her because she can be like super hardcore, but she also has like this cute little dog.
What's the dog called?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
Something in Spanish.
Right, yeah.
But that's something.
She's one of these people you see on Instagram, you think, I bet you she's, well, one, totally cool, but she looks so dedicated to climbing. Just so crazy about climbing.
Yeah.
That's her whole life.
And it seems pretty cool.
Pretty good way to live, and it obviously
Yeah,
really suits her.
In one of her YouTube videos, she says, I get up, I eat, I climb, I walk my dog, I go to bed. I eat, I wake up, I walk my dog, I go to bed.
Wow.
And it's pretty cool.
There's something beautiful and amazing how climbing gives that purpose to people's lives and
Yeah.
something to do that really, without that, maybe walking the dog wouldn't be so much fun, or eating wouldn't be so much fun. Do you think that's a life you'd like to lead?
Yeah, I would. That's what I would love to do, because I will just want to climb with animals.
With animals?
Yep, lots of animals and dogs at the crag.
Oh, you like that? You said about how that's one of the reasons you like Spain. It's because lots of stray dogs and stray animals. So
Yeah.
climbing and animals are your thing. You've got a guinea pig, a guinea pig,
Hamster.
a hamster.
Yes.
They're very different things. They're not the same thing at all, are they?
No.
No, they're totally different things. What's your hamster called?
Her name is Dora.
Adora.
Dora.
Dora. That's a Spanish name, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Is it not? Well,
Just
I had Spanish books for my daughter. There was two books with these two Spanish kids, and one of the kids is called
yeah,
Dora.
I mean, Dora Explorer.
Dora the Explorer, yeah.
She's Spanish.
Right, maybe that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
whenever I put her in a cage, she runs around.
Right, exploring.
Yeah.
So when we missed that thing out, you're talking about your coaches, your coach, Dynamic Danny.
Danny,
And-
yes.
Do you not call him Dynamic Danny?
Danny.
Just Danny. And Danny hooks up. He's kind of your friend and your coach, and he gives you ideas about what to do and helps
He
you overcome things about reach.
He helps me a lot with sort of just routes he thinks I could do, and then also indoors, if I can't reach a move, he'll go, oh, like you can just use that foothold and it won't take any grade away or anything.
Right.
And it's really cool because he goes, okay, this might work for you, and then if it doesn't work, he'll go, okay, well that doesn't work, so we can just do this bit. And
Right.
he's full of lots of ideas and really cool.
Right.
And I like being at the crag with him.
Uh-huh.
He's just nice to climb with. It's
Right.
really fun. It's really fun to watch him climb, and it's when I'm doing routes, it's nice to hear him saying, yes Rose, come on, you can get to the top.
Yeah.
And saw the same thing with my dad.
Right. He
before.
encourages you.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
and it's really nice.
And what?
It's really nice
Yeah.
to hear people saying like, you can get to the top. It just makes actually getting to the top a bit more, yes, I've got to the top.
Right, okay, because everyone's joined in it.
Yeah.
And do you shout at people?
Do I shout to people?
You can do it.
Yes.
Right.
I shout to Danny sometimes when he's on a route, but then I think I've seen him climb enough that I know, okay, he's like in his zone, so whatever you shout, he won't hear it because he's in his zone. So.
And that's a beautiful place to be in when you just completely. Is that? I was going to ask you, what are the things you enjoy about climbing? For me, that's one of the things I really enjoy about climbing, when you are completely absorbed in it and you can't hear other people. It's a real special moment that, because you're trying so hard, or you're.
I think it's really nice because you're up there and you have 4 points on the rock, and it's basically just you and the rock.
Yeah.
And if there's people, and then you can like turn around and you might have a nice view or something, and that's what I really like about outdoor climbing compared to indoors.
Okay.
Because indoors, you know, you got another wall next to you.
Yeah.
And like other people and lockers, and indoors I just find it's super, super safe.
Right.
Whereas outdoors, the bolts are a little bit more run out, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Right. And you've not always got a perfect hole to clip off. And
Yeah, and with the thing with indoors is it's coloured coordinated sometimes, so it's really easy indoors. You just go off a route, and I found it was really short routes at like 8 meters, 10 meters maybe, whereas outdoors it's all the holes are different, it's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Whereas indoors, you know, you got that exact same hold on that route because they're the same molds and everything.
Yeah.
But outdoors is just a whole
It's
another world.
very different, isn't it? I think a lot of people who climb indoors, who go outdoors, don't like it because it's not as similar as they think it's going to be. It's just it's very different skills, isn't it? You prefer outdoors?
Definitely.
That's good. Yeah, and there's so many more things going on outside, and there's animals and the wind and the rain, and
there's also lots of weather changes, and like it's also, I don't know what the word is, but it's just different. Really different, because you have, like you said, the wind and the animals, and the thing with climbing is it can take you to so many different places, because you could go to France, you could go to Spain, you could go to Germany, any places, just to climb a rock.
And you'll meet the people there, and you'll meet the people who've travelled there, and you'll meet the people who live there, and they're all
and pick up languages and different foods, and I think it's a really cool way to travel around the world almost. Because I'm doing what I love and travelling. Lots of animals to see.
Do you travelling with your dad?
Yes.
He must love it too, does he?
Well, he used to be a diving instructor, and he travelled a lot. He really likes travelling. He doesn't really stay in a place for that long.
Right.
So in a couple months we'll move into a van. I will just be living in the van.
Oh, you're going to move out of home and live in the van? Van life?
Van life.
No way.
With a hamster. That's going to be so epic. I cannot wait.
What's your plan?
Well, we'll just get a van.
Have you got the van yet?
No, we haven't even got our old van because it's broken.
Right.
But we're going to get a van, and we'll just travel in England for a bit, and then hopefully when everything's sort of calmed down with Corona and stuff, we'll go to Spain for 5 months and sort of just travel a bit.
Right.
And then we'll come back in this summer. So my dad can do some work and stuff. I'll just do schoolwork, I guess. So we're just going to do that, and I think that's going to help a lot with climbing because I have all that time to climb. It's not like I have schoolwork to be doing or stuff. I mean, I'm homeschooled, so I still have to do a bit, but it's mainly about climbing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So history of climbing, the science of climbing, the maths of climbing. So maths could be grades, science could be training science. So an art could be making videos about climbing.
I think it's very weird because when people think about climbing, they just think, you know, you're just going off a rock in like the same place or something, but it's nothing like that. It's really different.
Right.
And really nice, and I'm not 100% sure what people that don't climb would think about it, because they obviously haven't done it. Because when I did go to school, or like my family, they're like, oh yeah, you know, that's a cool route you did, like I saw the pictures. But then they never actually really know how beautiful it is, and like they never really know how well the holds are.
Yeah.
And it's just so different when you're there.
Right.
And it's
One of the
amazing.
things for me that, when I became a climber, the thing I realised, one of the things I love most about it, and it's really hard to put across to people, is I love a move. There's this thing of the way your body feels when you do a move, and there's no way you could ever begin to explain that to somebody, because you can barely explain height.
I can barely think of it myself.
But you know what I mean? That sort of that feeling.
Yeah.
When you do a really cool move, or
when you
work it out properly.
When you feel really happy, like I haven't been able to do that move for a week, and now I can do it.
Yeah.
It's really weird how you can be going for a move, and then you just move your foot slightly, and you'll get it.
Yeah.
And it's like a puzzle almost.
Yeah, it is.
I love unlocking those things. It makes you like jump with joy. It's really cool.
So we were talking about travelling. We probably missed all this, but let's talk about Spain, because I don't know if I've missed this, but you're the youngest person from the UK to climb 8A.
Yeah.
That's super amazing. I don't know if do people keep those records? I mean, I knew that some boy who's well into his tens had done an 8A, but you just about turned 10 when you did yours.
2 days.
2 days and you've been 10. 2 days.
Why couldn't I be 9?
I know.
It just sounds better instead of double digit.
Do you keep thinking about those 2 days you wasted when you were 9 doing something else?
Yes.
God, those days.
I shouldn't have played with those crag dogs. I should have been on the route doing it. Come on.
Why? Wow. Yeah, so that's an amazing achievement, Rose. And the 8A was in Margalef.
Yep.
Can you say it like that?
No.
And the crag, is there a crag called Margalef, or is it different crags in Margalef?
Just a bunch of different crags.
Right.
When we got the guidebook, I was really happy. Sort of with any guidebook, it's like Christmas. Like, yes, I got a guidebook. So we just sort of had a look around, and then one of my friends was trying this 8A, and she did it. And I was like, oh, okay, that could be a cool one to do.
What was it called?
El Guardia.
El Guardia.
And it's not my style at all.
Right.
Very overhanging.
Is your thing more like a Portland thing, little techie holds?
I quite like little techie holds, some like maybe unsecure moves, like you don't know whether you'll get it or not or something, but I'm not very good at dynos or big moves or slopers or pinches really.
So that just leaves crimps?
Crimps.
Just crimps?
Crimps and jugs.
Crimps and jugs.
Perfect.
And this El Guardia was overhanging.
And it's sort of
slopers, big holes.
it was sort of straight and then sort of went overhanging a bit, and it was quite big holds but very, very sharp.
Right.
So you'd have like 3 days trying it and then 2 days rest or something. So you're just very slopey at the end, very worn. I think quite a lot of young children tried to do it because it wasn't really a reach thing.
Right.
More sort of just a technical sort of situation and grabbing the holds and everything. So I think that's what changed it a bit, because I knew other children have done it,
right.
or like younger children and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I could get this.
Yeah.
Instead of a route I hadn't done.
Right.
Which is nice.
Does it help to have those little bits of information that? That means,
it is nice.
Yeah. Do you climb with other kids?
Well, I am a part of a squad, but I haven't really been doing it very much because of everything.
Right.
So I've mainly just been climbing outdoors, but I don't really climb with children that much, just because I don't know, I don't really have that many child friends that climb outside much, like too much. They all have climbed outside, but not that much.
They don't feel about it the way you feel about it.
I think they do like indoors a bit more, just because I don't know, it's like really cool indoors and like colourful and everything, and like they are with their friends in like squads and stuff.
Mm.
But I do know some people that do like going outside a little bit.
Yeah.
just not that much.
Right. And you don't have, are you homeschooled at the minute?
Yeah.
So when did you last go to school, or did you go to school?
July
And did
in
your friends?
2019.
Did your friends then, or?
Yeah, but they didn't know anything about climbing.
Right.
It'd be really, I thought it was weird because I'd go into school when I first did my first 7B ever, 7B plus, I was like, oh my god, this is epic, you know, but they'd know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, just want to talk to somebody, and I've had a really hard coaching session with Danny, and I'd be like really pumped, and like there'd still be veins on my arms, and I'd be writing with a pencil, and I'd get like pumped.
Right.
The pencil would be like hurting.
And well, I remember that from school too. You ache to connect with somebody about it because it means so much to you, but you just can't. You haven't got that.
Yeah, I would really like to talk to somebody my age and like just be happy.
Yeah. About climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you met any other 10-year-old who are super keen?
Well, some people are super keen, but sort of more indoors-ish. Not really many people have sort of been to Spain to climb.
Yeah.
I do know a person, I think she's 12 now, and she does quite like climbing outdoors.
Right.
And she was actually the friend we went with and she did the 8A, and then I wanted to try it.
Right, okay.
She could reach everything and gave me some beta, so that was quite nice.
Oh, that's really nice to have a teamwork thing on it, isn't it? Yeah. So you went to Spain. We're talking earlier about Spain. Spain's a beautiful country, isn't it?
Really
and
pretty.
You like hanging out there?
Yeah, just because it's chill.
Yeah.
I'm not very like, okay, I got to wake up at 7, then go to bed at 8 because I need to have rest. I sort of just wake up, climb a little bit.
Right.
Because I'm not the fastest person in the world, if I'm being honest.
When you're waking up, or all day long?
All day.
Yeah. Did your dad shout at you a little bit?
Rose, come on, eat breakfast, go climbing, come on. Yeah.
And so you have relaxed starts to the day, and you're not fitting into anything else because the whole day is just to climb, and it's so cool that. Yeah, and you sort of have a breakfast, and
it's really fun to like the night before you might go climbing, like to pack your bag, you know. Like,
you pack your bag the night before?
Yep.
Get out of it.
So we all ready and like we don't forget anything. Because in the morning I forget a lot of stuff.
Right, okay.
And then we'll just make sandwiches or something and go climbing.
Do you have any lucky charms or things like that?
No.
Or any rituals? Do you do anything? Do you make things work? No?
No.
Do you take your hamster to Spain?
Not this time, just because we were going for 2 weeks. And it's really weird because you've got to get injections and everything, but obviously when we're living in the van we're going to have to take her.
Right.
So.
Will she get a passport?
Not sure. I haven't thought about this that much.
Right.
I think we'll just sort of take her and my dad will sort it out.
Smuggle the hamster.
It's not very hard to hide a hamster, just stick her in a cup.
Yeah, the customs people are going, I think your cup is moving.
Yeah.
Your cup is moving.
What's happening here?
Why is your cup moving? So let's hear about your 8A. You found this one you really wanted to do and tried it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days?
Tried it for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't really try it until sort of the end of the trip.
Right.
It was coming, and then we left and came back again. Didn't do it that time. Left and then came back again.
Right.
Didn't do it that time. And then
you tried it all the time? So you tried each time?
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much every single time we went there, I tried it.
Huh.
Until I got it. And then we went there again and did a couple more good climbs, another
So
8A.
Rose, were you aware that this is an 8A when you're trying it? Well, you think, oh my God, this is an 8A?
Well, I didn't really know it when I was thinking about it, but when Danny or my dad would say, you know, you're trying an 8A and you're only 10, like, it's pretty hard. I was like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I just don't think about it because my head is 8A, I've got to get it. I got to get to the top, I'm so close.
Right.
And then when I did do it, I was super happy, but it was kind of sweet and sour because I needed another project again.
Right.
Something to train for or just something to try.
Yeah.
So when we went back, we've been to Spain so many times,
Right.
I can't remember. But when we went back again, I sort of started off on some more sevens and just, like enjoying it, because my goal wasn't, it was sort of just to do as many routes as I can. But then I ended up finding this route called Freeman in Fenestra, and I really liked it. It was much more to my style, 100%, and it was super crimpy and vertical with all my style. There's a place to put a hammock, the most adorable dogs I've ever seen.
Who hangs around the bottom?
Pardon?
This dog hangs round the climb.
Yeah. He sort of just comes up there whenever.
All right, just to say hello.
Just to say hi.
Ah,
Sometimes he'll like walk up because his owner will still be at the car park.
right.
And he'd just give him a stroke and it'd be super cool. And that was a thing with El Guardia. I'd get, if I get to the top, I get to come down and stroke a dog.
Oh, the dog was waiting for you at the bottom sometimes.
Sometimes he'd just be sitting there, mooching around.
Right.
And then on this route, Freeman, he was there. And then I was like, oh, that's super epic. Because he was like, that's what happened when I did El Guardia. So, and Freeman is another 8-8. So when I did that one, I was super happy because it was like...
You did Freeman as well?
Yes.
Oh, you've done 2 days? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's impressive. That's really impressive. You surprised me, Rose. And how old are you now? How far into the 10s are you?
Well, my birthday's in September.
You need to up the grades a bit when you get to 11. 8B maybe?
Maybe.
Do you dream of going through the grades and doing harder and harder things?
I don't think I dream about going through the grades. I sort of think I just dream about just doing these iconic routes. Like maybe going to France and just touching biography or something.
Wow.
Like just...
What is that? Is biography the route in your mind? Is that the...
So many the routes.
Is there? Go on, tell us some.
A person that I really like is Margot Hayes.
Oh, isn't she amazing?
She's so cool.
Isn't she amazing? I'd love to do an interview with her. I just think she seems incredible.
Yeah.
She seems really artistic and
She's
thoughtful.
really likes animals and bees and really just arty and really cool.
Because that's one of the best films I've ever seen, the one where she does biography. And at one point she says, I really loved it. This is a beautiful hold. I really love that hold, actually. And it just talks about how much she loved that.
Yeah, and it's
comment.
really cool.
Yeah.
And then, I also...
So I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're talking about Margot Hayes.
What, tell you about her?
Well, no, I asked you what iconic routes there are, and you started talking... I asked you about biography, and you mentioned Margot.
She's also done a route called La Rambla.
Yeah.
And that would be a cool route, because I think it's quite iconic too. Just to, touch those holds or even get to the first cliff, I'd be like...
Wow,
I have touched biography and La Rambla. And it would be cool, and then go to Oleana, and there's so many cool routes. Pachamama, Joe Mama, Fisheye, Mind Control, and just,
How do you know so much about these routes?
Research quite a bit on YouTube.
Right.
I spend quite a lot of time on YouTube watching these videos, watching these amazing sceneries. A silence from Adamonja, that would be cool just because the caves is so amazing and pretty. There's so many routes I would like to just see. Yeah. And they would be really cool.
Right, it's interesting you got these ones of these they're all very historical climbs, aren't they? Because Rambla was the hardest route in the world at the time, wasn't there? Something like that.
Yeah.
And biography was the first 9A plus.
I think everyone will remember the first 9A and the first 9C and stuff like that, and it will just be epic, if I could try it.
Yeah.
I don't care if I get to the top, but
I know what you mean. Just to
just
look
to
where I am.
Do it.
Yeah.
Look, and I have touched biography.
Climbing's amazing that anyone's allowed to go and.
Yeah, it's no restriction. No, you're 10 and you can't touch it.
No.
You can't touch it.
No, I know. There might be some, if you're into boxing, there might be some amazing boxing ring, but unless you're a professional boxer, you'll never be there.
Yeah.
But you or me can go and stick clip. We could stick clip our way up the La Rambla if we want, and no one's going to stop us.
just hold a couple holds, get some pictures.
Yeah.
And then go back to Spain.
Yeah. That'd be really cool. So you promised yourself a big treat if you did your 8A and you had ice cream that night and
Had a ginormous ice cream.
had enormous ice cream.
Yeah, so I was really happy.
Yeah.
Really happy for quite a while.
Huh.
Even after the trip, because I was still going, you know, I did it, and
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And it did take a little while to sink in, like, oh my god, I did it.
Right.
Because at first you're like, oh, that's cool, I did my project, and then all of a sudden the grade came back into it, and I was like, oh my god,
Right. Huh.
I did it.
Yeah. And
And
can you
it's really
tell
cool.
anyone? Who could you tell? Just your coach, your dad?
Well, we were up on the top of this hill when it was, so we had no signal and nobody was picking up.
Yeah.
So when we went down, got an ice cream, me and my dad were so happy. The first person we called was my coach, and he knew how much of a big a deal it was. So when I was talking to him, I was in tears. Like he was like, oh my god.
Oh, wow.
And it's really nice,
Huh.
and I like it a lot. It's really cool to have those moments in climbing.
Yeah.
I think with anything, really.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure, because they're very, what could you say about them? They bring everything into focus a little bit, don't
Yeah.
they? That
I
you
think
put all
definitely
this effort into it.
lots of memories
Yeah,
in climbing like that.
yeah. Because when you get the top, that's, you can
Yeah.
just let it go, can't you? And feel it all for a while. And when you stay out in Spain, I looked at your Instagram, and a lot of your posts were liked by someone who I know called Simon Senna.
Yeah.
And Simon's a really old friend of mine, and you stay with Simon when you go out there, do you?
Yeah, he's really friendly. And
Yeah, he's crackers
really,
guy, isn't he?
really cool. And his wife Vanessa is really nice. Yes. I now have this thing called a Vanessa hug.
Uh-huh.
It's where I have the tightest hug and put my legs down, and it's really nice. And she has these most adorable dogs called Nas
Nas.
and Remo.
Uh-huh.
And Nas is so fat.
Right.
He's the most fat Labrador I've ever seen, but that was amazing, you know? Like when I got down, had an ice cream, went to La Bisbal, where their house is, the ruin.
So we should give Simon's place an advertisement. You can go and
Yeah.
stay in his house, can't you?
You
What's
can stay at the ruin
it? In Margalef.
in
Yeah.
Margalef, on Instagram at the ruin Margalef.
Is it a nice place?
Oh, it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's not like the perfect place. It's not like
Because
super
of Simon.
perfect, but it's just, you know, it's really good because it's nice because like there's these old like almost like chunks of bricks on the floor, and it's quite cold in the morning when you
Right.
walk. But I mean, he painted it himself, and like it
Is
was
it blue
was
inside?
a ruin. And
I
he
saw
just did it
photographs when we
himself.
first got it on Instagram of
Yeah.
this ruin.
And
Yeah.
it's really nice. I think it's definitely a climber house, I think.
Right.
Just because Simon climbs and everything.
Yeah.
And it's really easy in there, you know, there's a kitchen, there's a toilet, there's a bed. That's it.
What else do you need? Yeah.
And a dinner table.
Dilo Hida, you walk the dog, I go to bed, I eat, and I climb.
Yeah.
So when I first came to Sheffield many years ago, I travelled around Europe and things like that, and I went to Sheffield, and when I got there I realised I knew so many people that I'd met on the travels. I'd be walking in the street and bump into someone and go, what are you doing here? And they go, I live here. And I go, no way, I live here too. There's all these friends I'd made throughout the previous 2 years or so. They all seemed to be living in Sheffield at the time. It was
Yeah.
really brilliant. One of those people was Simon Senna. I'd met him in Lamberis Pass, and he and I became really good friends. And he climbed a lot and I climbed a lot, but we'd hardly ever climbed together for some reason. We just
friends.
he's really quite a mad
He
guy.
said you and him sort of just did a lot of stupid things.
Yeah,
Just play.
Yeah, we just played a lot all the time instead of hung around the flat and drank tea and
Talked.
talked. Yeah, just and looked at Patrick Edlinger videos. Patrick Edlinger was a famous climber from the 80s. We'd look at, there wasn't many videos around then, so we actually had a video, which is a plastic box that you put into a thing called a video player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we actually had these of Patrick Edlinger. And we did go climbing one time to North Wales, and we went to Bindi Pentruan.
No, actually.
Huh, do you know of it? It's where the Big Bang is. Do you know the Big Bang, the 9A that Emma Twyford did?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
right. So we were at this.
I've never been there, but I've heard of it.
Okay, but it's a sea cliff. The sea comes into its base, and then there's a road above.
Oh yeah.
And Simon Senna and I And this guy called Mike the dentist, I don't think Mike liked me very much. You know, sometimes you go away and say, I don't think he likes me.
They pretend they like you, but they don't.
Yeah, he didn't do that good a job of pretending, actually. He tried, but he didn't do very well. But we were climbing at the base in the evening, trying to get one more route in. And as we stood there, there's a slopey grass top, and there's a noise. We all looked up, and coming flying over the top came a sheep. And the sheep had rolled all the way down the grass bank and flew over the top of the crag and landed on its back about 10 metres out from the rock on the rocks. We got a poor sheep, but it sort of rolled around and stood up again. We thought, my God, it survived. It's amazing it survived.
How did it survive?
Well, it fell this enormous fall, landed on its back on rock, but just turned around and got up. And we thought, that's strange that it survived. So we kept on climbing, and then the tide was coming in, and you have to get away from there when the tide comes in because you'll get wet. And so we better pack up. We turned around, we looked over to where the sheep had been. The sheep was still standing there, and the tide was coming up its legs. And we thought, why is that sheep not walking away? We packed up and we looked over again, and now the tide was up the sheep's belly. And we were just standing there, it wasn't making any attempt to get away.
That's so weird.
It must have been concussed or something like that. We didn't know what to do. Me and Simon and this guy Mike were stood there. Thought, maybe we'll try and take it out. So we went out and rescued the sheep and took turns of carrying it across the rocky beach.
What?
On our shoulders, and then somebody else had taken it. We carried this. It was a full-size sheep, and then you got up this scramble, and then we thought, well, what will we do? I'm not a farmer. We didn't know anything about what you do with a wet sheep, and so we thought, we'll phone the farmer, tell him there's got a confused sheep. You've got a confused sheep here, and so they said to go, as before mobile phones, they had to go and find a phone. So I walked down. The first thing, when you walk into town, the first thing you come to is a hotel. So I sat outside. So I sat at the hotel entrance with the sheep on my lap, and these guests started going in and out. And
I bet people were having mixed things.
Really mixed
what is he doing?
What is he doing? But for some reason there was do you know what country and western music is? Country and western, it's like cowboy music. There must have been some sort of country and western event on in there that night. Because everyone who's gone in and out was dressed like cowboys and cowgirls. And they wear these little thin ties, like lace ties, and little bulls' heads, and leather waistcoats, and pretend guns are in their waist. So everyone walking past was dressed as a sort of like a rustler or something like that, while I was sort of sat holding the sheep. And eventually, a farmer comes up with a Land Rover outside the hotel, and I went, hi. The farmer comes over and just picks up the sheep and just goes over and throws it really hard in the back of his Land Rover and drives off.
What?
And that was it. And then we went down to stay with a friend in somewhere called Bethesda, and we went to a pub, and somebody said to Simon, I'm going to do my Welsh impersonation. It always becomes my Pakistani impersonation, but I always get them wrong. So something like, you come round here again, boy, I'll give you a bunch of fives. Because Simon had said something, and the guy was going to punch Simon in this sort of strange little hotel or pub in Wales. And that's my memory. That's probably the only time I ever climbed with Simon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like a fun time climbing.
Yeah.
Carrying sheep on your back.
Well, that's a good thing to do. It was very memorable. This poor damn sheep. I don't know whatever happened, but just the sight of it rose. The sight of as the tide was coming up, this little sort of little sheep's legs, little black thin legs. The tide was coming further and further up the sheep's legs, and it wasn't moving out of the way.
Maybe he was watching you, thinking, "Are they going to help me?" Or like,
yes. What are they going to help me?
What are they doing?
So you must be looking forward a lot to your road trip.
A lot. Yeah. Super happy and excited.
And your dad must be excited too.
Yeah, he's very excited.
He must love it.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Any brothers and sisters?
I have half sisters because I'm half Thai.
Half
Thai.
Okay. Huh.
And my mum still lives in Thailand.
Right.
She doesn't know anything about climbing.
Right.
But I have these two sisters, and they're twins.
Okay.
And I don't know any Thai really. I know Ao Sapalot Mai, and that's how do you want pineapple. Right. So that's not going to help very much.
Well, it will. If you want pineapple, it will help a lot.
But then I also they're twins. And
have you met them?
No, because my dad took me back here just for like their schools and stuff, and I was 2, and we lived with my auntie. And then around about when I was 5, 6, I started climbing.
Right.
But before that, I did ballet, and and I feel that really helped with my climbing, with my feet placement and like moves, because lots of people do say climbing is like dancing,
Yeah.
and it is very true.
When some people do it, it's not like dancing when other people do it.
Yeah.
I saw a little video where you danced in your video. I thought you were a really nice dancer. Yeah, really good dancer.
I do like dancing.
I love dancing.
Just stupid dancing every now and then.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. It's good for the whatever it is. It's good for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were a ballet dancer?
Yeah, for a couple of years, and I really liked it, but I am glad I did with climbing a bit more, just because I feel like I didn't think I was that much of like like a girly girl almost. I did always wanted to like play in the dirt.
You're right.
And like not really like put on makeup, or like I bite my nails, like my hands are always chalked for climbing.
Yeah.
My hair's like dreadlocks, and I have a shaved side. But yeah, I thought like I liked ballet, but I didn't really like it enough to do it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Very different from climbing, I bet. Some of the movements are the same, but the world that's around it must be very different.
Yeah.
And maybe the similar people, but the sort of you can't go to Margalef to do ballet dancing.
And I thought that was very weird, because like in ballet, unless you're a street ballet dancer, like when you do ballet, you're always in a studio or like on stage. And I really just wanted to climb.
Yeah.
And I don't really like competitions that much. I just wanted to be outside.
Right.
Climbing a lot.
What does outside do for you? What do you feel about outside?
It's just really nice because you have the view and like the wind, and you know, you have a walk down, and it's really nice. And like, it's weird because all the holds are different. The rock's different. There's sandstone, there's limestone, there's Portland rock, and it's it fulfilled what climbing was for me a lot better than indoor climbing.
Right.
And I think it's a lot better. And I think quite a lot of people do outdoors.
Quite a lot of people what?
Do outdoor climbing?
Yeah.
I think indoor and outdoors is quite a lot of people do both.
Yeah.
But I think outdoor is really good to get into.
It's super cool, isn't it?
It's so epic.
Oh, it's so cool. Climbing outdoors is so cool. And I have very strong memories of all the times I climb outdoors. And I think if you do, imagine going to do La Rambla. Imagine you did La Rambla.
Wow.
Maybe that's like winning the Olympics. Maybe it's just...
I do find that when you climb outdoors, it's a bit more, for me personally, it's a bit more meaningful. Because it's like, indoors, you know, a 7B is like, it's a 7B, but you know, it's plastic holds in indoors.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like 8 meters. Whereas outdoors, it's like, you know, hard. Like different holds, weird holds, run out clips sometimes.
Maybe some history to the climb or something like that. Do you like that side of it?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, right. And you learn most of it through YouTube and stuff like that? Well, mainly that.
I do watch a lot of YouTube on climbing
there's
stuff
so
on
much
YouTube.
of it. There's so much stuff they watch in there.
Yeah. I've made a bunch of playlists on YouTube, like Sayus and Siriana and Oleana and Margalef, and just a bunch of climbs that I would do.
Do you make films?
Well, my dad has a YouTube account that he posts climbing videos on. I have like some routes that I thought were pretty cool to do. I videoed El Guardia. I didn't video the second one, which is a little bit annoying.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes I watch those and it brings exciting memories, and I really like that because with indoors, you know, there's not very many memories you can really have that much, really.
Right.
Unless you are committed to indoors.
Yeah.
Whereas outdoors, you know, it's stormy, but I still got up like a 7/8 even though it's dripping wet.
Yeah.
And it was, and I think
it's a real adventure,
that's really
isn't it?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, adventure.
Yeah. And I think I speak to people more outdoors than I would do at the climbing wall. I don't speak to people so much.
I do see a lot of people outdoors. I speak to them. I speak to a lot of people. I'm very talkative.
Shut up.
So yeah, I think, you know, you just talk to a lot of people because they're outdoors and maybe they're trying the same routes as you. And I really like that because they can give me beta, and then if there's somebody younger trying it, I could give them beta.
Yeah.
And it's quite fun.
Huh. Isn't it an amazing sport, Rose, that here we are, you and me chatting, you're 10, I'm 52, and we're both talking about the same thing. It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's not many other aspects in this life that you get the opportunity to do that. And
yeah, it's really weird how, like, I don't know what your climbing goals are, but we're both climbing, and like we both want to climb.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with all these other climbers, like they want to climb, and we all have that sort of similar mindset. And I do like that.
And when you, it's that thing too, when you talk about the feeling you get when you do something, I totally, you just, oh yeah, I know exactly what that feeling is, that wow feeling, or the feeling of being really pumped, and how you overcome that, and and all those feelings of when you feel you're climbing well. That's the other thing too. Oh, when things are just
you know when you're climbing well and it's all like the puzzle is fitting together.
And you think, look what I've done, and
especially when you look back. It's nice because I have a little climbing journal that I write all my routes in, every single one outdoors, and then I have a black journal which I put all my 8As and above in.
Dream routes or routes?
Dream routes at the back, and then like 8A and above routes that I've done, which is, there's only 2 routes.
Sorry, you've done 2, right? Okay.
And when I look back of how many routes I've done, it makes me feel really good. Like this training has paid off. Indoors has paid off, and it's really nice. Yeah.
And you think of all the memories that those climbs are, and how much experience. Oh God, Rose, you've experienced so much already.
I know.
What a fabulous life you've got ahead.
I'm really excited.
What's your targets for when you go to Spain this year?
Well, it is our first time living in the van, so I do want to do like some routes. I would love to just try an 8B, an 8B plus. But it was just going to, get into that style of doing living in the van. So we'll sort of just mooch around, like know the places, where to eat, where to shop. Petrol, stuff like that.
Will you learn Spanish?
I know a little bit of Spanish, and I'm learning it off this app, and I have a family member that's Spanish. So the good thing is my dad doesn't know any Spanish, so sometimes I can shout at him in Spanish and he doesn't know what I'm saying, which is good.
say some swear words. I'm not telling you to say some swear words, I'm sort of, you're just saying you could say some swear words. Oh, amazing, Rose. What a fun interview that is. I really appreciate you coming along. And tomorrow, the reason this came around is because you've still got it. You've still got it. There's someone called Esther who you know. Esther emailed to say that she liked my podcast. Did you listen to the Dean Potter episode on the way in?
Yeah, they're really cool. I think it's because like your accent's really funny sometimes. Right. And I really like them because sometimes you talk in quite a quiet voice, and it's like a podcast I can listen to go to bed. Right. Okay. And then sometimes they're really funny, so I would just stay awake. Right. They're funny, and that little like music bit in the when you first start. Yeah. What is that? Where did you get that from? The little bit was it's like sort of. Yeah. Well, my friend Gus is my first ever guest, and Gus is a DJ, and he's really into techno. Do you know techno? Techno type of music called techno, and up in Sheffield, all the climbers listen to techno. It's just boom, 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 like sort of nightclub music, and it's really, really amazing. But Gus is really into techno, and he produces some music. So he said he would do me a jingle. It's actually called a jingle, but it's so dark, that thing. The word jingle doesn't really sound right, because jingle makes you sound something like. But he made that. And it was just weird voices and things like that. Yeah, and he made it. When I first listened to it, I was like, what is this? And I never really listened, but then I caught on to what it was. Years ago, I was involved in a video called Hard Grit. There's this video came out called Hard Grit, and I was the presenter of it, one of the presenters of it. But they filmed some things at the Crag, and this guy called Seb Grieve was trying a very famous climb called Parthian Shot. It was like one of the first E9s on the peak. And you got this flake, and have you ever trad climbed? No.
So you put your little sort of metal things in behind this flake, and you put tiny little ones in. The flake's not very good, and then Seb would go up and sort of take this big fall, and sometimes the things would rip out. If these things all ripped out, he'd hit the ground and die, but like a sheep. He'd do a sheep. So, but some of these things came out, and one point I'm at the bottom, and he gets really scared and he falls off, and he sort of took his big fall, and then some of the things come out, and then he lowers back down to the ground. And in the video, he looks up and looks at the flake and says, "I think something came out of the bottom." And I said to him, "I think something came out of your bottom," because he'd really frightened himself. And I said, "I think something came out of your bottom," and that's in the film. So I cottoned on to that's what the person's saying in the intro jingle.
Really?
I think something came out of your bottom. That's what the words are saying in the.
Because it's very like robotic.
Yeah. So it took me a long time to realise that's what it was. Anyway, it's somebody saying, "I think something came out of your bottom," and because he puts it through some sort of
voice
computer type mayhemizer. So that's what comes out of the far side. So that's what it is. Yeah, and the other music at the end, just a guy, my friend called Guy in Scotland made that. But I've always kept it. I just like it now. It's just do the bits of music. Anyway, Esther got in touch. They say that she liked the podcast, and then said, "Oh, why don't you?" I know this 10-year-old girl called Rose, and she's really interesting, and she climbs really well. At first, I thought, I don't think 10, because Jam Crack's this thing we sort of do. You reflect on people and their what they've done in climbing and stuff. But I thought, if you're 10, would you have done enough to be able to reflect? I got to say, you totally as good a guest as I've ever had on the show, Rose, because you're super reflective and super bright and super just keen on climbing, which is kind of what you're there to do. Just the other day, I was trying to track down one of the things I like playing when I'm talking to young people, seeing who they know. Because I'll say somebody you won't know, like Cliff Phillips. You won't know Cliff Phillips, but Chris Bonington. Have you heard of Chris Bonington?
Yeah, but I don't know him personally.
He's a famous mountaineer, a British mountaineer from the 50s and 60s, and I was trying to track him down the weekend. I thought, well, if Chris Bonington represents climbing today, then so do you. You're as much part of climbing today as Chris Bonington does, because they're sort of different ends of this thing, and everyone else is kind of in the middle. So it's by you coming on here, you've sort of spread out. You spread the jam. You spread Jam Crack even wider, because I think climbing is kids, and kids doing amazing things. That's climbing changes all the time, and what it was whenever I started isn't what it is now that you've started, and that's what's so great about it. And I think people like you are at the centre of climbing now, and it's really an honour and a privilege to have you on as a guest on the show to tell us what's going on inside your head.
It's very cool, because I've never done this, like, just because, I mean, out of 10, like, nobody, apart from people at a crag, nobody wants to talk to me. They're like that weirdo that never shuts up.
Yes.
Like, you'll see me at any crag with a dog. So it's very weird to, like, have all this gear and the microphone.
I know. Well, hopefully you can forget about it, and it's just a chat. But I really appreciate you putting the time. And Esther's gone to all that trouble also to make it happen. How great is that? How amazing.
Yeah.
And she's put loads of time into this, because the other thing I was asking...
She's really nice.
She's really nice, yeah. She seems super cool. I'm doing my book called Boulder Britain, and one of the things I want to do in Boulder Britain is try and have the photographs represent the change, and so have to sort of have kids in there is really cool. And I asked if she had any photographs of you bouldering, and she said no. But then she decided she'll go down with you tomorrow to Portland to get some photographs. Which,
because our van is broken, I'm super psyched, because we haven't been down in a couple of weeks, and I'm getting a little bit annoyed because I just want to go climbing. It's really annoying. And I'm seeing like these Instagram photos of people like, look at the sunset, and I'm here and I can see houses and trees.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Excuse me, Instagram, could you shut up for a few minutes?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Rose, if people want to follow you on Instagram, is that a good idea? You bother? Do you want that, or you not care?
I don't care.
Yeah, okay. And you get a sponsorship? Are you sponsored by Arc'teryx?
Yes. Well, I wouldn't...
Or is that headband with the sponsorship amounts to?
I wouldn't really say sponsor. And they sent me some really cool clothes. And this headband that I'm wearing is... it's really cool. Yeah. It's the bird headband, and I really like it. And I think the thing with Arc'teryx is they're super stylish. Like they can be worn as like streetwear. Like or they can be worn hardcore climbing.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
people I've seen, like Drake and what's this guy's name? Justin Bieber, I think, are wearing Arc'teryx head hat, like a cap or something,
Yeah.
or like a ginormous jacket.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really cool, and the people there are really nice. And we went to Arc'teryx Piccadilly, and in the shop it's just amazing. There it's just, and you can feel it's really good quality. Like this is high end,
Yeah.
because they work with Gore-Tex, and it's really good.
Right.
I really like it.
Ah.
And I like how the logo is of a earliest bird,
Right.
and I really like that.
Huh.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. A little animal connection.
Yeah.
Well, you're my earliest. I was going to say you're my earliest bird, meaning you're my youngest guest.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Rose, amazing. Best of luck in your travels, and I look forward to hearing you when you do your first 9A.
I'm sure you can see me on Instagram or something.
Oh yeah. And good to know you're out there enjoying yourself, and I think you'll be enjoying yourself a lot. And say hello to Simon Sen if you see him again.
Yeah, I will.
Give him my love. Yeah, awesome. Really appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Ding dong. Did we miss anything out? Do you listen to music?
Yeah, there's this Arc'teryx Academy called Girl Power Hour song playlist on our Spotify, and it's really cool. I really like that one now. It's just some really cool songs and everything, and I really like that.
Lovely. Thank you, Rose. Say good night to the guests.
Good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. And if you're falling asleep out there, sweet dreams. Because some people fall asleep then. Say something scary.
Boo.
Gotcha. Excellent. Rose, amazing.